One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I just noticed that my little timer thingy there kind of locked up. But anyways, welcome back for the evening show. So tonight on tap, we have President Trump, who will be giving a speech tonight at the McDonald'S franchisees or executives who are going to be there today. I can tell you based upon what I'm seeing on the screen. Let me cut to it so I can cut the music. They're playing like Beach Boy stuff. But as you can see, it says the golden age. So obviously President Trump is going to be touting all of the success that he has had over the last 10 plus months because nobody else wants to talk about it. So President Trump is going to be talking about this. Looks like quite the packed house. He is scheduled to go out at 6. Obviously, you can see he hasn't walked out as of yet. As soon as President Trump walks out, we will definitely cut right to it. I expect there's going to be a bunch of copyrighted music, so I might, I'll just let it play and worry about it afterwards. But they're going to be playing some music as soon as he walks out. So as soon as I see him, I will cut right to him. So anyway, in the last hour or so, something happened that President Trump is touting and wants people to know about. Of all people, this came from the United Nations. Let me show this to you. Pretty big, actually. And it says, congratulations to the world on the incredible vote of the United Nations. The United Nations Security Council, just moments ago acknowledging and endorsing the Board of Peace, which will be chaired by President Trump, and include the most powerful and respected leaders throughout the world. This will go down as one of the biggest approvals in the history of the United Nations. Will lead to further peace all over the world and is a moment of true historic proportion. Thank you to the United Nations and all of the countries on the UN Security Council, to which included China, Russia, France, UK, Algeria, Denmark, Greece, Guyana, South Korea, Pakistan, Panama, Sierra Leone, Slovenia, and Somalia, all of them on the UN Security Council and voted for this. Also, thank you to those countries that weren't on this committee but strongly backed the effort, including Qatar, Egypt, the UAE, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Turkey, and Jordan. The members of the board and many more exciting announcements will be made in the coming weeks, and that's just going to serve to cause more people to be pissed off. It's going to cause even more of the panicans to scream, bitch, and moan because obviously a big part of this is protecting Israel, which they don't want any part of. They hate the fact that he is such a strong ally for Israel. And I'm pretty sure just mentioning that causes certain people in the chat to lose their minds. I have been involved in promoting and advocating and supporting President Trump since the day he came down the escalator. And today, right now, it seems we are in a more feverish time than ever before. So which tells me he is probably somewhere over the target, as they say. A lot of people will say the term over the target, but what exactly does over the target mean? Well, I have an idea as to what over the target means at this point. I'm going to share this with you, and I want you guys to understand this. Mike Cernovich, good guy. I think he's been there since the beginning as well. And I'm going to show you what he posted today. Hopefully I can get this done before he comes on stage. One of the things that I'm going to tell you, part of it is hypothesis, another part of it's just a guess, and another part of it's 100% grounded in fact. So let's talk about the stuff that's grounded in fact, that is undeniable. There is nobody watching, nobody who will watch on the replay. There is nobody who can deny this. So I'm going to ask you a question, because everything after that question is based and predicated on your answer to this question. That question being is, if the Democrats take power, whether midterms or presidency, if the Democrats take power, do you have any doubt whatsoever that they will do everything in their power to impeach President Trump and then to further probably incarcerate him, destroy his businesses, destroy his family, and everything he's worked 78 years for? Do you have any doubt? All right, so now that we know that is a given, now that we know that is a question that we all can affirmatively answer without any equivocation. Yeah, if these guys get back in power, they're going to go for it. All right. So if you believe that, and I believe that firmly, don't you think he knows that? Yeah, that's a huge question. That's what Mike Cernovich said here. Mike said 2028 was always going to have a vicious primary fight where there would be no too low for the never Trump chicken hawks, but it's only 2025 and it looks like the play is to give Democrats the House, get Trump impeached, and use that to take out MAGA. And my reply was, you don't think Trump knows that? Hopefully people will start asking themselves some serious questions at this point. And those serious questions are, either you think this guy is senile and stupid, or you're forgetting where we were and where we've been. Because those of you who I just posed that question to, and I'll actually put it up as a poll, if you believe, should they get in power, they will go after Trump with everything they got to take him down. If you believe that, then you have to believe he knows it too. All right, so that's the assumption. That's the predicate for what I'm about to tell you. That's how the rest of this all goes, because it doesn't make any sense unless you believe the previous question. So we've set that. We've set that as our standard. That's our bar, that President Trump 100% knows, should these people get in power, they will destroy everything that he touches. So if you were in a position and you knew that there were going to be people, even on the right, who were going to cooperate and do whatever they can to get your memory completely erased, everything about you, everything about MAGA, you know that that's their objective at this point. What would you do if you had the power to stop it? Now that's a question that now we're getting into supposition. Because I know if I had the power to stop people going after me, putting me in jail, taking my entire business, going after my family, I would do something about it. There's no doubt. Every single one of you would do something about it if you had the power to do it. So here's the hypothesis part. President Trump knows this. He knows he can't get anything done in this crappy Congress and Senate. They don't have either the testosterone to get it done, or they just don't want to do it. So if you're in your mind thinking, I'm going to go full Andrew Jackson, that I'm going to go as far as I possibly can, Insurrection Act, the whole 9 yards, if that's in my back of my mind that I'm going to do, then if I do that, I know it's going to be so bad, it is going to get so crazy that everybody surrounding me is going to take arrows, maybe worse. So maybe what I want to do is isolate myself. I am not going to be running in 2028, and so I'll take all the arrows. I'll take all the gruff. I will take everything that these people can throw at me, because they can't hurt me once I pull the trigger, per se, on this. And I do what I gotta do. But at the same time, I don't want these other people who are still going to be here after me to deal with that, to deal with the fallout. And so maybe the way I do this to make sure I'm the only one they come after. Yeah, they'll go after Stephen Miller, but he's not running for office. Yeah, they'll go after Susie Wiles, but she's not running for office. I need to shield everybody else to make sure that nobody goes after them. What's the best way to do that? Well, the best way to do it is keep these people at arm's length, and even if you have to create a mirage, let people in the media and the Democrats and some Republicans, let them think, I'm pissed at this person, I'm pissed at that person. Anybody that you think is aligned with me would be a target. I'm waiting for him and JD later on to have some sort of tete-a-tete, something that just doesn't match. Because I want to be the person carrying the flag, running towards the hill, and there's nobody behind me. Because I don't want anybody else hurt. And if I can convince the rhinos, and if I can convince the Democrats that I'm out here on an island, then I can do the Insurrection Act, I can take down what I need to take down, I can have Pete Hegseth with the military do what he needs to do, and all the politicians on the periphery don't get hurt. They can come out and speak against him. They can come out and say all kinds of things. And they can also play along with it. Hey, I hate what Trump's doing. I cannot believe President Trump. I would not vote for President Trump. The illusion of it's all this guy doing it, this one man, protects everybody in the periphery. So that when he does something that's pretty much, as people would consider, unprecedented, you can't point at these other people. It was him. That's my hypothesis. And again, it's all based upon the predication that should he go down, they will do everything in their power to put him in jail, strip his businesses, go after his family, go after his family businesses. And if that was me, if I was president and everything I know was going to be destroyed, what would you do? I would do anything in my power, including that signature saying Insurrection Act. You can get mad, you can get pissed, you can riot, you can do whatever you want. But it doesn't matter to me because I'm not running in 2028. And I'm going to get done everything I need to get done. I am going to go ahead and put in voter ID. I am going to go ahead and do all these different things. And you can get pissed at me, say I'll never win, but I'm going to take care of these other people so they're not taking fire at all. I'd love to get your idea on that. President Trump is walking out right now, it seems. Here he comes. And of course, they're going to be playing the music, so pray for me here. Here he comes.
I hate to turn that beautiful song off, but let's get to business, right? And I want to congratulate you. You are with an incredible company, and I'm thrilled to be here with the men and the women who are really the heart and soul of one of the greatest, most admired, and most successful companies in the history of the world, frankly, the one and only McDonald's. I've gone there a couple of times. And I'm honored to stand before you as the very first former McDonald's fry cook ever to become president of the United States. And I actually was there for about 30 minutes, and that was 30 minutes longer than Kamala was there, right? Despite her job at McDonald's, that didn't work out too well. And the person at McDonald's that informed us off the record that she never worked there, whoever you are, we appreciate that. That was very nice. But I want to thank, as you know, the famous Sundar and Sergey Brin. These are two guys that own and run a place called Google. They called me the following day after I did that McDonald's little skit, because it wasn't a commercial. You got it for nothing. It was a skit. And they told me that, and I didn't know them. I said, who are they? They own Google. I said, that's pretty good. That's not bad. And that it received more hits than anything else in the history of Google, and that records, it still stands. So congratulations on allowing us to use it, but you made a very good deal as usual. But you know, in the old days, McDonald's and many others would call me to do this kind of a thing, come over and say some words and talk, and they'd pay me millions of dollars. Likewise, they'd do it. They'd call others, only superstars, and they'd pay them millions of dollars to speak. And as president, I'm doing this damn thing for nothing. Okay? And you know what? Because it's you, it's an honor to do it, and it's an honor to be here. It really, the job that McDonald's has done is incredible, and that you're doing. But as you may have heard, I'm also one of your all-time most loyal customers. I really am. Well, I think that's good. I'm pretty sure that's good. While other politicians fly around on campaign planes stocked with expensive catering, on Trump Force One, prior to ascending to Air Force One, which is quite a nice plane also, we served only McDonald's almost every time. On occasion, we couldn't find one, which is pretty hard to believe. We'd go another route. But we really did. You fed us very well. And I even got Bobby Kennedy to eat a Big Mac. And he told me he loved it. He didn't want that publicized. He told me he loved it. I thought it was great. I want to thank McDonald's chairman and CEO, Chris Kempczinski, who I just met backstage. I guess gave him a little piece of my speech signed. I said, do you want to keep this? You can either hang it, you can give it to somebody, you can throw it away. I don't care. But I don't stay on the speech too long anyway, so usually those speeches aren't too accurate, what I give. But McDonald's USA president is here, Joe Erlinger. Joe, wherever you may be, thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. Good job, along with everyone from the International Franchise Association, which does really fantastic work. I've heard from many people you do a fantastic job. So thanks as well to two former McDonald's operators now serving in Congress, Representative Kevin Hern and Chuck Edwards. Are you here, fellas? Come on, fellas. And they're warriors, those two. They're warriors. Thank you very much. Great job. And, of course, let me thank the people who truly keep the McDonald's magic alive. the incredible franchisees, and you got a lot of them here tonight. Yeah, and you're the heart and soul, and they would tell you that all the time. They tell me that. You carry on the commitment to what Ray Kroc said he wanted from every McDonald's restaurant, perfection. Have you heard that? Perfection. That was very strong. Ray liked to say that if you think small, you'll stay small. And that's why no one thinks bigger than McDonald's, not in your industry, and probably never will. I don't know if anybody can ever catch you. I doubt it. Every single day you feed an incredible 1% of the entire world population, 70 million meals every day. An amazing 1 in 8 Americans works behind the counter of a McDonald's franchise at some point in their lives. Yeah, we heard about that. I heard about that. Wasn't true in that particular case, but for tens of millions of our citizens, the road to the American dream starts beneath the golden arches, beautiful golden arches. So to each and every one of you, thank you and congratulations on 70 years of American greatness. Congratulations. And, you know, I just might add, this is also the golden age of America because we are doing better than we've ever done as a country. Prices are coming down and all of that stuff. And, you know, they talk about different terms for that. But I will tell you that nobody has done what we've done in terms of pricing. We took over a mess. We had the highest, think of it, the highest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years it was the history of our country. And now we have normal inflation. We're going to get it a little bit lower, frankly, but we have normal. We've normalized it. We have it down to a low level, but we're going to get it a little bit lower. We want perfection. You know, you always want 1%. I don't know if anybody knows. You don't want 0. 0 can be bad. Then you start going the other route. That's no good either. Then you say, what's worse, deflation or inflation? But we have it almost at the sweet spot, and prices are coming down on different things. One of your groups that you admire, I admire, Walmart, came up last week, and they announced that Thanksgiving this year is 25% less. All of the accoutrements, that Thanksgiving is 25% less than it was last year under Sleepy Joe Biden. So that's a big statement, and others have followed up by saying just about that. And to your leader, when we met, I said, how are you doing with prices? Prices are coming down. He said, we were up 40% because of Biden and inflation, and they're coming down, and they're coming down rapidly. So I hope that all continues to go, but we're really doing well as a country. Most importantly, however, I will tell you, big picture, we have over $17 trillion being invested in our country in 9 months. It's now just about ready to crack 18. And by the end of 1 year, we will have about $20 to $21 trillion invested in our country. That's more by 10 times the highest amount ever invested in any country ever before. And it's largely because of tariffs and, I think, November 5th election. But it's the largest amount. As an example, so if we have 20 or 21 in 1 year, 21 trillion, think of what that is. That's car factories, that's AI, it's everything. They're all coming back because of the tariffs. They're all coming back because they don't want to pay 15, 20, 30, 100% tariff. It wasn't that complicated. People are saying, you know, Trump was right. It really wasn't that complicated, but it's been amazing. As an example, if you take me at 20 for 1 year, Sleepy Joe Biden, you know what he was? Less than 1 for 4 years. And if they got elected, they would have been at minus 10 because people were moving out of the country in record numbers, and welfare and other charges were increasing at levels that nobody has ever seen before. So you would have had double and maybe 50%, maybe literally more than they've ever seen. Welfare was going up. Everything was going up. Government jobs were going up. Real jobs were going down. So you would have had that catastrophe, and on top of it, instead of 20 trillion coming in, you would have had 10 trillion leaving our country. In other words, you would have had a catastrophe. You probably would have had a bankrupt country. You are so damn lucky that I won that election. I'm telling you. It's actually true. I hope the press covers that. You know. Some days he got up and he ranted and raved and bragged. I don't brag. I just give you the facts. It's true. But those in this room know the people of our country better than anybody. And before the sun rises, you're up serving hot coffee to construction workers, nurses, and police officers on the way to the job. In the evening, you stand ready with the fast dinner and a smile for busy moms and their children as they race from school to soccer practice. Really is. It's Americana. And late at night, your lights are off and the only one still glowing when the long-haul trucker pulls up for a good meal and a best Coca-Cola in America. Best Coca-Cola. Whoa. And I'll bet they use real sugar in your Coca-Cola. You know, they didn't in the United States. I said to the head of Coca-Cola, you got to go to sugar. They do in other countries. And you know what? They went to sugar. Isn't that nice? I said, you got to go to sugar. Just like I said, why is the Gulf of Mexico called the Gulf of Mexico? I said, we're changing the name. And now it's the Gulf of America. It has nothing to do with McDonald's, but maybe it does. Because it's very nice cycle. We have 92% of the shoreline. They have 8%. I wouldn't say I made a lot of friends in Mexico, but they still like me. Wasn't that a good change? Seriously, wasn't that beautiful? And it was done in an instant. You know, it's like, normally you think a thing like that would take years. This took like 10 minutes. I asked somebody, good lawyers in my office, I said, would I be able to change the Gulf of Mexico? Is that possible to the Gulf? Sir, it's been that way for 350 years. You know, they were here 100 years before us. We're 250, they were 350. It's been called the Gulf of Mexico, sir, for 350 years. I said, that's not the question. Am I able to change it? Yes. What do I do? Just give us the order and we'll do it. And I did, and we changed it, and everybody's happy. Well, not everybody, but most people. Most people are happy, but it's great prestige for our country. You know, it's tremendous prestige for our country. And that's good for McDonald's, and that's good for everybody else. As president, I want you to know that I'm fighting every day to support small businesses like yours and the citizens that we all serve. And together we're fighting for an economy where everyone can win, from the cashier starting her first job to a franchisee opening his first location to the young family in a drive-through line. I've been on that line many times. Actually, that line was incredible in the commercial, right? It wasn't a commercial. It was about, but they have the line. The people had no idea. So I made the French fries. The guy was really good. He had a great wrist. He was, sir. He was going like, sir. Yeah. It was not that easy. But I got it sort of finally. Not the greatest, but I get it, pouring it in, asking him all sorts of stupid questions. But it was very interesting. Amazing. A little thing is not, it's a little complex, right? To father and son over there that own a lot. They're very rich people. But I'll tell you what. I asked, how many do you have? Sir, I have 59. I said, you're rich. But you know, nobody knew in the line. That line was a long line. They had 25,000 people, so somebody let them know we were coming. It was toward the end of the campaign. And after I did the French fries and did some other things, I then stood at the window. And the people would drive up, a little bored in all fairness. You know, it is, I mean, they're waiting for a hamburger, okay? So they'd drive up like this. They'd look over. Whoa! Every one of them. And it was fascinating. Every one of them, they would, it was, the response was incredible. Almost like I knew I was going to win when I saw that. I knew, because the response was love. It was great. They had a good time, but we did, I think, 12 people. Every one of them had the same response. They drive up, they this, they get that, getting a little cash ready, and they look over, and it was, some did a double take. Some went like that. Whoa. But it was sort of an amazing moment. You know, I did a garbage truck also, right? And everybody, and I thought, when I spoke with Sergey and Sundar, I said, yeah, but the garbage truck was equal, wasn't it? They said, not even a contest. Garbage truck was great, not even a contest to McDonald's. And that's because we had the power of McDonald's. I mean, it was an amazing thing. I thought the garbage truck would have won. And they said it was good, but it wasn't even close. So that's a tribute to what you've built, really. It really is a tribute to what you built. But there's still a lot of work to do, and we're making tremendous progress. 1.9 million more American-born workers are employed today than when I took office. Think of that. 1.9 million more today than, and these are American-born workers. Nobody thought that was possible. And we have the strongest borders in the history of our country. Nobody comes in unless they come in legally. You see the numbers. Everyone thinks it's impossible. A year ago, millions of people were storming our borders. Today, they only come in if they come in legally. And wages for hourly workers are rising at the fastest pace in 60 years. And sometimes you might say, was that good or bad? It's great for you. The minimum wage thing you'll have to be talking about. You're going to have to fight. We were talking about California, Gavin Newsom from California. And I knew he's laying siege on the minimum wage. And you people probably know, because that's a very complex subject, and you people probably know better than anybody the impact one way or the other, good or bad. And you're going to let your local congressmen, your senators know about it. But in 9 months, we've lifted over 600,000 Americans off a food stamp, and that's a record. And it's because we really have a strong economy. I mean, we're building thousands and thousands of factories all over this country. Wait till they open up. You're going to see something like we've never seen before. You know, we lost our auto industry. 54% of our auto industry left for other places over the years. And I think we're going to get it more than all back. They're coming in from Mexico, from Canada, from Germany. They're coming in from Japan. We made a deal with Japan, $650 billion. We never got anything. We made a deal with the European Union, $950 billion, and have to buy our oil and gas and many other things. And I want to say it's good for everybody. All that we made a deal recently with China, where they buy our soybeans, but it's hundreds of billions of dollars. And it's incredible what's taken place in our country. The world was laughing at us like we were stupid people. They're not laughing anymore. They don't laugh at us anymore. They respect us now again, and that's what we want. We want to be liked. We want to be respected, much more so than being liked. And, you know, in a certain way, they like us better now, too. They respect us, but they like us better now because the world was ripping off our country. Not sustainable, not even sustainable. China was making $722 billion. Think of that. Not million. 722 million's a lot, isn't it? $722 billion. They built their military with the money that we gave them over the years. And in my first term, we had a great first term. The most successful economy we've ever had in my first term. This is going to blow it away. This is blowing it away, to be honest with you. It blows everything away. There's never been a time like this, and you're going to see the results, you know, pretty quickly. But in stark contrast to the previous administration, 100% of all new jobs created in America under my administration have been created in the private sector. Because, you know, we are trimming out government jobs. You can't have, you know, what they do is they give you phony job numbers in a lot of ways, but they'd hire 100,000 people, and all of a sudden it looks like they're doing well. They're not doing well, because those are jobs they hurt our country. If those jobs can be in the private sector, paying taxes and all the other things, it's a big 100% of the jobs that we put in have been, think of that, are in the private, come from the private sector. In my first term, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. And now we're doing it again, but this time it really is, as I said, much stronger, much better. I think it's going to be something that nobody has ever seen before. My pledge to every family and every small business is that I will not rest until you are richer, stronger, more successful, happier, till you've gotten a piece of the American dream. Some of you in this room have really gotten a piece of it because you made a great decision to go with a great, great company years ago. And it's really pretty amazing. That begins with making America. We have to do, the word is affordable, and affordable should be our word, not theirs, because the Democrats got up and talked affordability, and they don't say that they had the worst inflation in history, the highest energy prices in history. Everything was the worst. What they're great at is lying. They say affordability. this stuff was all much more expensive. We have a couple of items like coffee, which is a little high. We're going to get that down. You saw that today. The coffee comes down. Remember when I first took over? Eggs. My third day in office, I have a news conference, and the fake news media was screaming at me, Mr. Congressman, about eggs. Remember that? I'm standing there very innocent. Oh, hello. Do you have any questions? What about eggs? What about them? They're up 4 times. I said, look, I just got here. I'm sorry. And Brooke Rollins and Department of Agriculture did a phenomenal job. And they said, don't order eggs for Easter because you won't be able to get them. And they said, we have a big Easter egg hunt at the White House. It's sort of a thing that has gone on for 100 years. They said, could you order plastic eggs? I said, I'm not ordering plastic eggs. We're going to have eggs down by that time. And by the time we got to Easter, the price of eggs had fallen precipitously. We had all the eggs in this country you want. And we know what we're doing. I mean, we know what we're doing. We rebuilt our military. We have the greatest military anywhere in the world. We make the greatest military equipment anywhere in the world. And everybody knows it. And everybody knows it. And you saw that with the way we took out the nuclear capability of Iran with those gorgeous B-2 bombers. They flew in there and they wiped it. And the word was obliterated. Remember when CNN said, well, it might not have been obliteration. Think of the pilots. They go in there, they're under fire. I was watching this from the Situation Room, and you get to see things in situations that you wouldn't believe. And they said, sir, they have entered Iran airspace. All of a sudden you see much faster. Then you see them going down at the whole thing was crazy. I actually said, do people really want to do that for a living? They're waiting for them, but the equipment is so good. The B-2 bomber. Stealth. They never saw them. They never saw them. I mean, it's the most amazing thing. And I honored the pilots at the White House. I had them brought in, along with mechanics and a lot of other people. We brought them to the White House to give a little celebration because they flew 37 hours flawlessly. Now compare that to the Jimmy Carter Iran situation with the helicopters crashing and the this and the, oh, what a horror, and the hostages. And I said, we can't let that happen, but we have a great team. General Raisin Kane is unbelievable. The whole group is unbelievable. And they went in, and I brought them into the White House, and I brought them then into the Oval Office, the pilots. And we met them, all handsome. They look like Tom Cruise. They really do. I don't want to be a wise guy and say, but taller. I'm not going to say that. No, they're perfect specimens. I mean, these guys are like from a movie. I could take everyone, put them in a movie. And I said to him, so what's the story with that raid? Did you expect, because you remember I pulled it back? Because I saw reporting that we're going to be leaving at a certain time. And I said to the general, is that not good that they think that? And they sort of got it right. They saw a lot of activity. Actually, you know why? They saw one of the things. They saw a lot of unbelievable activity going on at the Mcdonald'S next to the base where they take off. The Mcdonald'S was doing 5 times. They were going crazy. So they say, there's something going on over there. The biggest activity that McDonald's had ever had. And it was a nice story, how well it's doing. But that was not a good story for us. So I canceled it and then I announced we're canceling it. And the pilots said they were devastated. Then I put it back in the exact same time because that was the only time they weren't thinking would happen. And we left exactly on time, but that was after canceling it 2 days before. And then we put it right back in the exact same slot. And we had identical planes, B-2s, flying four of them, flying into Guam. And they thought that was the attack team. And they were watching those planes in Guam, going to Guam, and that was not the planes that we had. But think of it, they flew both ways 37 hours without a sputtering of a bad engine, without any problem. But they got in and they said they have entered Iran airspace and the enemy's waiting for them. And they dropped the bombs. They hit every chute. You know, they have air chutes that go deep into the granite mountains. If you don't hit those chutes, the damage won't be as big as you want. And every bomb hit every chute. And then we hit them with rockets from a submarine that was quite a distance away, 30 of them. Let's put it this way, they got hit. And it totally took out the nuclear capability. And I said to these guys when they came in, to the office. I said, do you guys like doing this stuff? You know, they said, sir, it was the greatest day of our life. Can you believe this, Congressman? It was the great, I mean, they're like heroes. They're like American heroes. Who the hell wants to sit, you know, those ships are very big, but they're very small when you're up way high, going very fast. And he said, it was the greatest day of our life. And they told me something that I didn't know. They said that, sir, do you know, we waited 22 years for this, our predecessors and us. We would practice this run for 22 years. I didn't know that. For 22 years, we had to practice. We'd do it 3 times a year. We would practice this exact run. And then when you canceled it, because I canceled when they heard that we were coming, we were devastated. I said, see, now if I were a flyer and they canceled, I'd be extremely happy. Well, we're canceled, so let's forget it. But we were devastated. So I said, this is something you really love, right? Yes, sir. We were so honored. This was the greatest day of our life. I mean, it's really great. We just have incredible people in this country. It's an amazing story. And they hit, and then they said, skedaddle, the word skedaddle. And that plane went like this. You know, when it drops a bomb, it goes down very steeply because that gives it a better angle and, you know, more speed for the bomb. Very, very heavy bombs. And they go, boom. And as soon as those things, the one pilot, the first one said, skedaddle. And that thing just turned in its side. And it's so unbelievable. And that knocked out Iran nuclear capability. And all of the Middle East became a different place. And now we have peace in the Middle East. And at the United Nations today, they approved the Board of Peace, which is I'm going to chair. And we're picking the leaders or the heads of the most important nations in the world. I think it'll be a board like no other than perhaps the McDonald's board. You have a very good board. You actually have a very good board. But nobody thought a thing like that was. This just happened today. The Board of Peace, and it's going to be comprised of myself and leaders of other very important nations and very respected nations. And it's going to be something I think is going to be very important. It was just approved. It was just endorsed by the United Nations. It was pretty great. It's a big thing. I think it's one of the most important things the United Nations will ever do, actually. But Joe Biden's prices and his hikes cost a typical American family an estimated $33,000 and hit your workers and your customers and your small businesses. Very, very hard. The Biden administration started the affordability crisis, and my administration is ending it. I'm ending it. Prices are way down. If you just look, so we don't have, as I said, the inflation, but our energy prices are way down. And, you know, despite hamburgers being a big business, energy is one business that's bigger. When you get energy down, everything else is affected. If you start bringing the price of gas, that's like a massive tax cut. And they were selling, you know, they were having gasoline at $4.75 a gallon and $4.50, $3.50, $3.75. We're going to be able, it looks like we're going to be able to hit $2 a gallon in the not too distant future. But let's say we're $2.50, $2.70. Other than places like California, that's not fair because they put so high a tax on that you're really paying a lot of that price is the tax that you're paying to government, which is horrible, actually, what they do. But the price of gasoline and the price of energy is way down. So when energy comes down, you make the donuts, you make the chicken, you make whatever you're making. Everything is all about energy. You have to deliver it. You have the trucks. You have the fuel. When energy comes down, and it's come down fast, we had an expression, drill, baby, drill. And I drilled, baby, drilled. I tell you, we drilled. And last month it was announced we produced more oil and gas than any time in the history of our country by far. And when you do that, everything comes down. You don't even have to look at the numbers. And it's all beautifully coming down. And as per your chief executive and your chairman and everybody else, they tell me the prices at McDonald's are coming down. It's moving down. Unfortunately, they were so high in the last administration that people aren't that happy because it was so high. So even though it's coming down and coming down a lot, they want to see where it was, like when I was president. And we'll be getting it very close to that number, maybe even better, depending on what we do with energy. But the energy is coming way down. In the 9 months since I took office, we've stopped inflation in the tracks. Since January, the core inflation has been the lowest in just about 8 years. Just changed. It was 4 years, now it's 8 years. It just changed about an hour. They just said, sir, if you want, we can rewrite the speech. I said, no, I can remember it very nicely. Thank you. I'm not Biden. In the past 6 months, the price of breakfast items has fallen 14%. Bread prices are down. Dairy prices are down. And the price of eggs has declined 86% since March, and much more than that since when I took over. Because when I took over, it was an egg crisis, as we said. And I want to give a very special thanks to McDonald's for slashing prices for your most popular items, bringing back extra value meals, and I hear you're recommitting to the affordable options of Americans that we really know and love, all of the items that we love. And I hear that McDonald's is playing a very big role in that. We're getting prices down for this country, and there's no better leader or advocate than McDonald's. And I believe the next time maybe I'll have to be back here again next year if you get them down enough, okay? That's all you have to do for me is get them down enough. We'll come back. We'll come back, Mr. Chairman. But while Democrats wanted to give Americans the largest tax hike in history in July, I proudly gave you the largest tax cuts in American history and signed the one big beautiful bill. I call it the great big beautiful bill into law. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. That is a big deal. So the great big beautiful bill is the biggest piece of legislation ever passed in our country's history. It gives expensing to you as owners, where you do something, you could expense it, you can take it off in 1 year instead of 38 or 40 years. It gives you so many things. And I'm not giving it to you, I'm giving it to the people that you're hiring, because I'm giving it for jobs. You're going to expand, you're going to do tremendously, you spend money, and you can write it off quickly as opposed to over a period of many, many years. The typical waiter, waitress, or police officer will take home roughly $2,000 extra each year because of just what we've done on taxes. And the tax cut bill, and I call it the tax cut bill, is also a big boost to small businesses like yours. It includes permanent expensing. And again, the biggest thing I did in my first tax cut bill, and this also expanded and extended that, was the expensing, the 100% expensing. But now we have the expensing for a 10-year period, so for 10 years. And frankly, I sort of said, let's make it 2 years because, I want the results to be immediate. 10 years, they can take their time. I had a lot of pushback, including from these guys. They said, no, the right thing. It might have been good for us politically, but it's better what we did ultimately for the country. So we have 10-year full expensing. Nobody thought that was possible to get. We also expanded tax relief for all franchisees and made the pass-through deduction permanent. It's now permanent. And very importantly, under our tax cut bill, we virtually eliminated the unfair estate tax or death tax, so you can keep your family business in the family, your children, if you love your children. If you leave your beautiful place to your children, you won't have estate tax, small business. Now, if you don't love your children, you don't really care what I'm saying right now. I've only had 2 or 3 people over the years that say, I take a vote. Does anybody in this room dislike their children where you're not leaving it to your children? And, it's always blank, blank, blank. Then all of a sudden, one guy about 6 rows back, okay. And I thought he was kidding. I said, oh, that's so funny. I'm not kidding. My kid is no good. I'm not. And I said, this is amazing. So he's not so happy with this, but it's all right. But think of it, farmers especially, where they'd have a farm. And the expression, the land rich, cash poor a little bit, but they have a great, wonderful thing and a way of life that they wouldn't change with anybody, not even a franchisee, right? They don't want a McDonald's. If they have a farm, they love their farm, just like you love what you're doing. But the farmers were dying, leaving their farm to their children. The value of the farm was high. They'd go out, they'd have a tremendous estate tax or death tax, and it would so much. I mean, the percentage is crazy how high. They'd end up losing the farm in bankruptcy. They'd go out and borrow all this money to pay the tax, the estate tax. They'd put a mortgage on the farm and they'd end up losing the farm. Many of them committed suicide. They would commit suicide. It was such a horrible thing that was happening. And we've ended, think of that, the death tax, the estate tax on the small businesses. So I hope you're around for a long time. You don't have to think about it. But it's a great thing for your family, and it's, a great thing for longevity. You treat your franchise just like a farmer treats his farm. You love it. You're there early, you're cleaning it, little touch of paint here or there. There's a little spot on the ceiling, drives you crazy, right? It's, it's love. It's love for what you do. It's amazing the job you do, too. I see it. I've been in plenty of McDonald's that clean beautifully. You must have some awfully good incentives because they are really amazing places, the job that's done. But upon taking office, I signed an order requiring that for every new regulation, 10 old job-killing regulations have to be eliminated. So if we put in a new regulation, then we get rid of 10. Otherwise, you don't get the new regulation. And, we got rid of the drip water. We call it the drip, where it drips out of the sink. States with tremendous water, so much water, they have nothing but problems getting rid. They had restrictions on water. It comes down from heaven, right? They had restrictions on water. So you want to wash your hands, or like me, I want to wash my hair. I lather up. Then I turn that, and there's no water. The water's drip. They put a restrictor on. I won't mention the third item in the bathroom because I always get criticized. I used to mention that, but I don't mention it anymore because you know what I think you do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you shouldn't be owning a McDonald's franchise. You wouldn't do well even with a McDonald's franchise. But no, the water restrictions totally lifted. All restrictors are gone. And it's interesting. Your dishwashers were covered, right? You had no water. I was with some of the people that make them, Whirlpool and others, and they said, sir, they won't give us the water to use in our dishwashers or use in our washing machines. The washing machines have no water. I mean, it's like a glass of water, half a glass of water. We need water. And I said, how bad is it? He said, well, like the dishwasher. They put the dishes in, and they just keep pressing the button, bing. They end up using more water. So I gave them, as you know, unlimited water. Biden came back with a rigged election, and he immediately restricted the water again. But I came back in and immediately unrestricted again. So now you have unlimited water to clean your damn dishes, okay? And other things. Your hands. Didn't you hate that? You walk in to wash your hands. I'm a big hands guy. I like to wash my hands. I used to hate shaking hands. Now, once you run for office, you better like shaking hands or you got a problem. You ever see a politician? No, I don't want to shake hands. Can you do that? I don't think you wouldn't be a politician very long. I actually thought that with COVID, that would be the end because, they didn't want you to shake. I said, well, but then it came back a little bit slowly, then eventually. But when you're a politician, you have to shake hands. So I like washing my hands. And you'd go into the sink, new places generally. And you turn on the water and there's literally no water. And how about the places that think they're going to save a fortune, so they spend a lot of money, where the water turns off there. You press the thing, which you hate to do, your hands. You don't like to press. So you get the towel, you press it, you wash it, and the water stops. So they have both a restrictor and a stopper. You get like 4 drops of water. Tell me, do we really get rich with that? Okay, do we really? This is so ridiculous. So I undid all of that nonsense. But we did much more important for you. We've rescinded the insane Biden energy regulations on ovens, cooktops, microwaves, and ice makers that were driving your costs through the roof. You have no longer restrictions in that. I hope you understand. But I did better than that, too. In terms of slashing, we slashed more than $1 trillion worth of regulations, burdens on the U.S. economy, in particular on businesses and people that employ people. Combining our regulatory and tax cuts, we've reduced the effective burden on franchisees by more than 37%. You're so freaking lucky. You are so lucky. These guys are so loaded, they probably don't even know what I did for them. They make so much money, they say, it's peanuts, 37%. Let me tell you, you should have suffered a little while through Kamala. The good news is she had no clue. You just wonder. I want to give an IQ test to Kamala and Biden. Who do you think wins? But they were destroying your businesses. But I have better than that, though. As you know, in my first time, I also stopped a mortal threat to the franchise business model by terminating Obama's infamous joint employer rule. Joint employer. In other words, you were screwed. You would have been mortally wounded, perhaps. I said to a couple of the people, what would have happened if that? Sir, please, I'd rather not talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. I ended it. You got lucky on that one, let me tell you, because I said, really, I asked one of my guys, because when I was coming over, I saw that in the speech. I said, what does that mean? He said, that would have been death to businesses like yours and others. It was just, these people don't care. They didn't care. But I ended it, and I think that's one of the biggest things that you'll ever have done for yourselves. I think that's the biggest thing that can ever be done for you. We mentioned all these different items, but that's the biggest by far for you. As long as I'm president, I'll always defend your right to run your own small business and do it well. And some of your small businesses have become very large business. One of the franchise owners here today is Carlos Matios Sr., who escaped Communist Cuba when he was just 6 years old. In America, Carlos took jobs as newspaper delivery boy, a factory worker, and eventually became a New Jersey police officer. Then, in 1998, Carlos switched careers and moved to Virginia, where he took over his first McDonald's. Where's Carlos? Is he around here? Let me see. Come on, stand up. Stand up, and your son too. Stand up, your son. Good-looking son. I met him backstage. He had a knack for turning around poorly performing restaurants, and today his family owns nearly 60 McDonald's all along the East Coast, including at the Pentagon, where I've ordered numerous Big Macs. Right? In fact, he served when the great football team came in. They served McDonald's, and you'd have these guys walking out, the biggest human beings I've ever seen. They were the national champs, right? Remember the team? Who was the team? Remember the team? He said Clemson, that's right. And these guys, I don't know, they were, like 6'6". What do you weigh? Sir, I weigh 392. I said, but you reported it much. So I said, yeah, that's what they say. But and he'd have like 12, just each. And I thought he was bringing them back to the rest of the team. I said, that's nice, but maybe the team wants them. No, this is what I said, are you going to eat all of them? Yes, sir. He didn't even know what I was talking about. But you served it, and you did a great job. In 2019, when we hosted that great Clemson Tigers at the White House, I literally brought dozens of quarter pounders from McDonald's. We bought the whole thing. We bought the quarter pound. We bought actually just about it. Well, he really had no choice because he just took everything he had in the whole restaurant. We got whatever the hell, probably whatever didn't sell, we got, right? But Carlos is here with Carlos Jr., his son, who started as a cashier and now runs dozens of the restaurants. Congratulations, fellas. What a great family. Congratulations. So in conclusion here tonight, carry on and really just keep going and inspiring that legacy and that pride that you have at really beyond almost all else. It was excellence in service, stretching back more than 7 decades to when 2 hardworking brothers with a hamburger stand in California partnered with a hard-driving entrepreneur from Illinois to revolutionize the restaurant business forever, like nobody had ever seen. Because of men and women like those in this room who have pride in your souls, love in your hearts, and ketchup in your veins. Did you ever hear that one? 70 years later, McDonald's is the #1 fast food restaurant in the entire world, and honestly, it's not even close. What a job you've done. And it still is really growing stronger with 900 new restaurants planned in the United States in the next 2 years alone. And I think with the great big beautiful bill, you might even double that number. I can imagine you'll double that number. But it's amazing to watch you grow. You know, the big ones, they get a little slow, they get a little fat, they get a little sloppy. This is a company that's gone just the opposite. You've gotten more and more competitive. I look at your numbers. You've gotten more and more competitive over the years, over the generations. Your spirit, generosity, and devotion to your communities has really made McDonald's a symbol of American values, aspiration, and success that's recognized all over the world. You are recognized all over the world, something that, and there's a lot of great, I mean, compared to the total, not so many, but there's a lot of great leaders, great companies. But I think more than anybody, McDonald's is recognized all over the world, and as widely as, frankly, the stars and stripes themselves. And everywhere there's a McDonald's, we see stars and stripes. Everywhere the American flag flies, you'll find the golden arches, and there you'll find good people doing honest, beautiful, hard work, and happy families sitting down to a really great meal. Because no matter who you are, everyone loves something at McDonald's. There's always something to have. I like the fish. I like it. You could do a little bit more tartar sauce, though, please. Seriously. I hate when I say, do you have any tartar sauce? Do you understand that? Yes, he understands that. Together with hardworking Americans like you, we're going to pioneer new heights of prosperity. We are doing better as a country right now, and people are seeing it. The Wall Street guys know it. The stock market hit its all-time high 48 times in a row in 9 months, 48 times during the 9-month period. And we're hitting the highest stock market we've ever had in history. All markets, all three, all markets, every one of them, has hit all brand new highs. It's a good time to be making this speech, because when you make one of these speeches, if you're doing lousy, it's not good. And you know, the stock market, you can say what you want, but it's a hell of an indicator. It's really a hell of an indicator. And your stock is doing phenomenally. But the stock market has hit an all-time high 48 times during the last 9 months. And we're going to pioneer new heights even from that. These new heights of prosperity are going to be incredible. We're looking at affordability. We're going to bring it down for everybody, because not everybody understands the fact that a great stock market is great for everybody, including 401ks. You know, the 401ks hit the highest number that they've ever been 2 days ago. And that's a lot of people. So they understand what's going on. And we're going to make the American dream two words that you didn't have. You didn't have those 2 words. Remember when Biden said, it's all about 3 words, the American dream. You don't want to ever get in that situation. Remember that? That was not good. It's all about 3 words, American dream. But possible, and you're going to make it really possible for millions and millions of people. And you have an administration that's got your back. You don't have an administration that wants to put you out of business, that wants to take away your water, that wants to have you not use a microwave oven, that wants to do all these horrible things that are going to destroy you. They were looking to destroy you and other businesses too. So together we're going to make America richer, stronger, prouder, and happier than ever before. And you people can be very, very proud of the job you've done. You're respected all over the world, and it's an honor to be with McDonald's. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, all the panicans can say whatever they want, but I don't think that President Trump is that good of an actor. You look at him and he doesn't look worried. You know, having played football and going against guys, you know, you get the psyche, you try to psych the other guy out, you try to show him that you want to dominate today, you want to just get in his head. And one of the things I keep looking is that the guy doesn't look perturbed. He doesn't look worried. All the stuff being slung at him, he doesn't look worried, smiling and dancing. Maybe he is that good of an actor. I don't know. But he doesn't look worried, which I think is encouraging to the country. I think it's encouraging to every single person who believes and supports him. We need someone who shows us that the guy could barely talk. His voice is shot. He must have been screaming pretty hard at somebody, but he didn't cancel this. He didn't call it off. No, I can't make it. My voice is shot. And I'm sure, I haven't seen the calendar for tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be something he's going to be doing. If not tomorrow, Wednesday. Maybe tomorrow, Tuesday, it might be Caroline Leavitt doing a press conference, and then he'll take the day off and be ready Wednesday. I don't know. But he's out there almost every single day. And everybody is out there taking shots at him, trying to make their clicks, their likes, their money. One guy accused me in between shows. He's like, you never say anything negative about him. You're not talking about the H-1Bs and Israel and this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? That must really make the anti-Israel people their heads spin after finding out that the United Nations Security Council named him the head of the peace coalition. And it's bringing all of those countries in the Middle East together. The United Nations did that. They're the ones who endorsed him for taking over, what do they call him, the Minister of Peace or whatever? President of Peace? That's amazing. So no, I'm not concerned that Israel is our ally. I'm not concerned about the H-1B visas, and neither were you, talking to the gentleman, because until other people started talking about it, he didn't know. And I knew he was full of crap, this guy that came at me, when he started talking about Argentina. Then I knew you were just eating the bait that they put in the media. He had no idea, none, how much money we made from Argentina. It was a currency swap. For those of you guys who don't know, they didn't cut a check to Argentina. Argentina paid us in a currency swap. Most people don't know that because the media will go out there and just lie about everything. I'm done with the panicans. I'm done with the clickbaiters, the rage baiters who do nothing all day long but just talk crap about President Trump. And my big thing, and people say, Barry, why are you so upbeat about President Trump? Because life is better. Life is better. If life wasn't so good, then I would feel completely different. If gas was more expensive, if things weren't working out, yeah, I'd be kind of concerned. I'm like, well, Barry, you're different. That's just it. There's always a flipping excuse. Oh, it's good for you because it's good for you because there's always an excuse away from embracing success. And I'm not alone. I'm going to encourage you to get out there and follow and interact with some of the people who are in the shadows out there who are trying to tell people, screw these people. One of them who I follow is this guy named Unseen. Don't know who he is. And he writes it. He goes, if you haven't figured it out yet, you didn't pay attention to Trump 1.0, where you get your information from unreliable sources. The anti-Trump people, especially the anti-Trump people on the right, are following the exact same game plan as they did in Trump's first term. I want to stop there, because if you were around during Trump's first term, you're recognizing the same playbook being executed. Some people are new to this. Some people are new to MAGA. They weren't around back then, and they don't see this is just the same continuing stuff over and over and over. We got them this time. Excuse me. Oh, the walls are closing in. Like, do you now know how long they've been saying that? Oh, the Epstein thing, the Epstein thing, the Epstein thing. And every single one of you, I put up a poll. It's very interesting. I put up a poll, the question I asked, 98%. Do you believe the Democrats would go after Trump if they regain power? 98% of you said yes. The other 2%, I don't know what they're thinking. That's because they've already said they would. They already know. You already know what they want to do. There's nothing that they're holding anything different. This is what the Democrats do. It's the same stuff over and over on a different day. And by the way, if there was anything in these Epstein files, you're saying through the entire campaign, the entire Biden presidency, it never came out. When you actually sit down and think about that, you realize how insane these people are. And what they're doing is trying to influence other people, probably the younger people who weren't around. So as this guy is saying, while they have been able to drive his approval numbers down a little, It isn't anywhere close to where it has to be for Congress to turn on him like they did in Trump 1.0. The left also isn't getting the same results even when they have tried to follow the same game plan. The left's problem is that their resistance is dead. You see, everybody who keeps saying things to me, and you may see it on X too, Trump's, his numbers are falling, nobody wants him, he's not going to win. And I've said many times, who are you asking? Over and over, who are you asking? Because they're not even denting him. If people are falling for all of this stuff that's happening right now, which I don't even know what it is. Oh, house affordability. I'm going to show you something about home affordability real quick here, because I think you need to see this. And while they have somewhat strong opposition without the resistance, they just can't get their mojo back like they did in Trump 1.0. Meanwhile, the never-Trumpers in the GOP can't get the same impact because MAGA changed over 3 years and Con Inc. isn't as powerful as it was before. And the people don't want and the people do not want people that will keep Trump honest. They want people who will row the boat with Trump. Yes, we want people who want to celebrate America. Do what's necessary, not just constantly complain. God, these people must be awful to live around. I mean, just crazy. So I want to show you a couple of things. And some of it has to do, where are we? Oh, here we go. Let me show you this. Give you an idea. The midterm campaign will have one objective, and that objective is to destroy MAGA. The rhinos can't win against the strong MAGA. I feel there are going to be some shocking developments coming in 2026. And, they're all saying the exact same thing. If you can't recognize a PSYOP, you're looking at one. You are looking at one right there. They're echoing the exact same words at the exact same time. What is that? That's a PSYOP. That is some serious MK Ultra stuff right there. MAGA's dead, MAGA's dead, MAGA's dead. If MAGA's dead, you wouldn't have to tell us. We'd know. And those are people supposedly on the right saying these things. Those are people who are supposedly Trump supporters at one point. Nope, that's why Elon is about to come out with something he said is going to be happening in the next 72 hours. And I've begun seeing some of this stuff happen already. Like, let me just show you this guy's tweet. You're about to see this occur. I'm not talking about what he put here. I just want to show you his profile. Elon said he's going to start putting the flags of origin over the next 72 hours. The flags of origin will show up in somebody's tweet. So you see an American flag right there. Wait till you see how many of these things going against Trump aren't from America. They will freak out when you're able to see, wait, you're not even from here. And you're saying MAGA's dead. I cannot wait till that happens. That's going to be a game changer once those flags go into bio. You're going to see people scramble to try and pretend as though they know something or they are MAGA. They both sides want us gone, and both sides will do whatever they can to try and diminish President Trump's support. You just can't. It's up to you. You just can't let it happen. Let's see here. I'm going to go. I've been looking at some of the stuff you guys are writing. Ask me. Okay. I forgot. Hold on. Somebody just remind me of something.
Hey everybody, Barry has a couple things to let you know about. Fanfare is giving away a free fishing trip. We're going to fly you and a guest down to South Florida for a 3-day, 2-night getaway. You'll go on a deep-sea fishing trip with Robin. And Barry and Robin will take you and your guest out to dinner. To enter to win, go to fanfareshop.org/fishing. It's easy and it's free to enter. Second, if you'd like to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group and join 18,000 fellow patriots. It's a safe space for patriots as it's curated and moderated. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/group. One more thing, if you'd like to be a part of the show, submit a 60-second video by going to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Last, but certainly not least, if you'd like to request a free Bible, please go to fanfareshop.org/Bible. We have a long list, but we're getting them out as soon as we can. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/Bible. Thanks for being a part of the Fanfare family. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I like that because it gives me a chance to get a glass of water and if I have to sneeze or something. But all those things, you guys, and I forgot, tomorrow I got to change it again because I forgot about the silver. So, I'm talking about giving away an ounce of silver, which I need to do right now. Oh my gosh, I forgot to set it up. 1 second. I will definitely get that done. Oh boy. Sorry about that. I wasn't ready. But I shall be real quick. Here we go. Pick a winner. Randomize the selection. All right, so let me pull this over so I can do 2 today because I didn't do 1 this afternoon. So we're going to do 2 winners of silver. Let me get to the right window here so I can pull it up so you guys can see. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Wait 1 second. All right, so it's in here. All right, so the first winner, and hopefully it doesn't show their personal information. Where did it go? Pick a winner. Pick a winner. Randomize the selection. Draw the winner. And winner chosen. Let's see who that winner is. That winner is Donald Woods. Donald Woods, you are the winner. His email address is Donald Woods. You've just won an ounce of silver. Let me go ahead and get another one put together right quick. I want you to randomize and draw a winner. And winner chosen. Where is it? Mark van Wondergem. Mark van Wondergem, you have won an ounce of silver, and we got to do one more. Let's go ahead. Too many buttons to be pushing. Draw winners. Winner chosen, and the next winner is Bob Marino. Oh, so we got 3 guys today. So we got Bob Marino has won. Bob Marino. Mark van Wondergem and Donald Woods. So we got three guys today. 3 guys have won silver. Congratulations. Look for an email from Ashley, and we'll get your information out to you. Linda says, thank you, Elon. The flags of origin are going to be a game changer. I fully believe that. Absolutely. Jim, you're absolutely. This is what I keep telling the pollsters. Political polls are meaningless unless they sample a cross-section of Americans of all socioeconomic, racial, age, educational. Yep, their tabs are screwed up. Let's see. Silver is still undervalued. I believe so as well. I believe that. Let me do this. Congratulations to the winners. Wow, you guys are so nice. Even if you didn't win. So Annie Oakley says, Mark Van Wonderman, Bob Marino, please stand up. Where y'all at? Exactly. We'll get an email out to him. MSX says, flags are an amazing idea. So understand why that's an amazing idea. When you're seeing people trash Trump, you're going to be able to see what country of origin that person is from. Which means if they're bots, if they're doing different things, and understand if they have a check mark, they have to be verified. So that's one of the bonuses from using Pro, the X Pro, is because you can sort and say, I only want to see things by people who are verified. That way you're not getting all the spam stuff in. People are just too effing stupid to see what the president is doing. I think it goes beyond just being stupid. I think there's a insidious plan to try and take the country down. Oh, by the way, speaking of taking the country down, it has been announced tonight that President Trump is going to be meeting with Zoran Mandami. So I can't even imagine what they are going to be talking about. All right, so in closing, I did want to show you guys a couple things, a little bit of real estate, if you shall. or maybe I'll hold this till tomorrow. I'll hold this tomorrow, but I'll show you this one. A poll came out over the weekend, which is absolutely insane. And the poll says, this is from Pew Research, over 50% of young liberal women have been diagnosed with a mental health condition. 50%! Something has gone terribly wrong. And here's the actual chart from Pew, and this was from 2020, so it's probably even higher now, that over the age groups and things you can see here, conservative women, not so much. Conservative men, even less. Moderate women, a little bit of a bump, and conservative men is pretty much, nothing. Liberal young women, because this over here is where the age group is, through the roof. Through the roof, off the charts. How can we work with a demographic or worry about a demographic who have gone bat poop crazy? Absolutely nuts. And it's troubling. These young women, I think, and I don't want to insult any of the independent women out here, but when you've been sold a bill of goods that you can do this on your own, you don't need babies, and you don't need men, you don't need the other sex, and you can go ahead and change and do whatever you want, no wonder they're all mixed up. No wonder they're all bedazzled. They can't even think straight. What kind of pressure must you be on to try and do everything to make something change your natural order? Your natural order when you're 18, 19, 20 is, for most women, the way it was designed, is to basically at that point be looking for a mate. And they have convinced these young women, you don't need men, you don't need babies, and you don't even need to be a woman. What's a woman? Go ahead and have your things chopped off and take some pills, and you don't even have to be stuck in the body that you're there. So your misery is because you're tired of guys hitting on you, and you don't want to be with men, and now you don't want to be with women, and now you want to be a man with another woman, which makes absolutely no sense. I can't even imagine that. How do you rationalize that in your head? I'm a woman, but I don't want to be gay. But then I'm going to take these hormones and lop stuff off to turn me into a man so then I can be gay. But I won't call it gay. I'm just a man now. How? The natural order isn't being changed. The natural order is being destroyed. And they're wondering why these women are off the chart, bat poop crazy. You see them. They have been sold such a wrong bill of goods that I don't know how they ever come back. And then if you add in the TDS on top of that, see, that's just the normal crazy. Then you got to add in the TDS crazy. And so we're taking these people to a whole new level of crazy. God help them. I mean, they're going to need prayer. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but where they are mentally, where their headspace is, there's nothing else that's going to correct them. They've already tried to do the course correction on their own. They chopped off their boobies. They're taking hormones. They're getting, baloney things stuck in there so it looks like they have a weenie. And then when none of it works, you're just a deformed Frankensteinian project. Why wouldn't you feel completely suicidal and crazy? You've completely maimed yourself, and there's no coming back. And the people are telling you, oh, you did the right thing. They've ruined a generation. They've completely ruined a generation. And so that's why they're miserable all the time. I can't believe these numbers when you look at this and you go, wait a second. I don't think it's that low. I really don't. It's absolutely scary when you think about it. You can do anything you want. You can be a guy. You can be a furry. Who knows? How about just concentrating on doing this one the best of your ability? Wait a minute. I think SB woke up and jumped in the chat. What's he got here for me? And it's such a sad thing when you think about it, because it's hard for us to even imagine that you wake up one morning and decide that you want to change teams, but you're actually still on the same team, but the only thing that's changing is somebody's label. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Will the Ducks ever be in the same pond? They're forever gone. They're forever gone. All right, so I'm going to do super chats, and then, because it's the second show of the day, I'll hold some of this real estate stuff for tomorrow. Before I do super chats, let me see if they have posted what's going to be going on tomorrow. Let me see if they've posted the schedule yet. It usually doesn't come out till like 10 o'clock. Let me see. Nope, they haven't posted tomorrow yet. So as soon as I find out if we're doing a press conference or something tomorrow, I will let you know. And if not, a regular show. All right, so I got some housekeeping for you, just to let you know things are in flux here. And things are in flux because I'm still working on the main studio, but tomorrow they're doing a big build out with the desk and everything, so I should have the desk done, and then I'll have everything set up. And so, not this week, may test something this week, but next week we should be just ready to go in the new studio. Unfortunately, next week also happens to be Thanksgiving week, which I guess that might be a benefit. I could mess up and test a couple of things. And so what I'm planning going forward for until January is I'm going to go 2 shows per day, Monday through Thursday. We're going to do 1 show on Friday, and we're not going to do any live shows on Saturday and Sunday. We'll do some clip videos, and I'll post some things for Saturday and Sunday. But for the holiday season here, I'm going to be dark in terms of live stuff on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to spend some time with the wife, the grandkids, the daughter. She's got family coming from her side as well, so we're going to spend some time. Thanksgiving, like I said, I'll probably not do anything Thanksgiving Day. Maybe I'll do the Rush Limbaugh thing on Thanksgiving. And then Friday after Thanksgiving, we'll do a real estate show so the people who are celebrating and eating with their families can do that. So next week, we should be in the new studio during the day. We'll be here at night and have everything ready to go. That's my plan. If everything works accordingly, we shall be fine. And I think you guys will like it. Don't laugh, as there will obviously be some ongoing changes and things that I want to do, but I'm ready. I am so ready. All right, here. Fikowski, no bitching zone here. Absolutely. Nathan Hardcastle, the narrator in your show's intro is so true. I get teary-eyed every time you hear it. It's like listening to the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you. I wrote that. I wrote every single word of that. And I got an older gentleman to narrate it for me. Not that much older. He just has a good voice. Fikowski, not only him, us too. Got 33 years of socialist experience. Wow. Wow. Fikowski, Barry, use your platform to inform the masses about socialist reality. I'm going to talk to you a lot tomorrow about affordability, not so much just real estate, but actual affordability. Fikowski, I received the Bible today. Thank you. You're welcome. Nathan, I think the Democrats are trying to do anything to stop Trump from getting money from all these countries who are taking advantage of us. Hopefully the Supreme Court does the right thing. Martin Jackson, I don't understand why Democrats don't like Trump. He has 5 kids, 3 baby mamas, and he's married to an immigrant. I tell you the part they don't like. He's rich. That blows it for him right there. He's white. If he was dark and he was Poe, they'd be okay. We'll help you steal some money. Jason Myers, yeah, thank you very much. Martin Jackson, and he lives in government. He lives in government housing. Oh my God. Nathan, I think Trump is going to give people $2,000 and a $2,000 tax break. Actually, I hope he doesn't. I'll go into that tomorrow. I'll go into that because people are like, why wouldn't you want a $2,000 check? We'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you tomorrow. Let you dwell on that. Why does Barry not want $2,000 going up? Because I'll let you know. Buddy Sanders, MAGA will never die in my personal life. Agreed. Captain Danny, the MAGA army is alive and well, 30 million redneck strong. The other 50 million are true patriots. And Patricia Kuhn, hey, Ray, how about your poll? They did go after President Trump. In fact, they're still going to go after him. And if they get in, they will do everything to finish him. Thank you for that being the last comment. Because go back to my synopsis and what I said. None of us are going to be surprised. And if none of us are surprised, if every single one of us knows that they're going to go after him, then he knows they're going to go after him. So for him not to do anything, people are like, oh, nothing's happening. For him not to do anything is telling his wife and his family, I'm going to let them come after us. And if you think that's going to happen, you have not been paying attention. So with all the craziness going on online and people saying stuff, nothing's happening, you have to believe this guy knows he's in their crosshairs, probably literally. And what would you do if you were in that position? I got a late one that came in here. Let me go ahead and talk to you about this. Michael Anderson, thank you. President Donald Trump dramatically increased the effective cost for certain new H-1B visas petitions by imposing an additional $100,000 fee. Shh, stop telling truth. Stop telling people the truth, because it's easier for them to promote and put out and post BS. Like I said, that one guy who came at me and he's talking about giving the money in Argentina, he had no idea that Argentina had paid back so much. They don't know. They're not being told. Ashley said something to me today. I said, I don't show much of this stuff on the left anymore because they're basically barking hyenas. And a lot of people say, I don't want to hear it. I think we need to start revisiting some of that stuff that the left says so you can see how bat poop crazy they are and to what level and mission they are going to go to destroy America. I think that may help bring people together and like, hey, listen, we are in an absolute fight for this country. And for some reason, a lot of members of our team decided they were going to go play for the other team, which means they were never really part of our team. They were just checking which way the wind blows. And I told you earlier, probably a couple weeks, come January, we're going to be beginning campaign season, and you're going to see people distance themselves from President Trump because they find it might not be advantageous for what they want to do. One of the first ones who came out today, or rumored to came out today, is that Ted Cruz wants to run for president in 2028. And President Trump was asked about it earlier, and he was very magnanimous. Oh, I like him. He's a nice guy. And we'll see what happens. He didn't come out. He didn't trash him. But watch what Ted Cruz does. Let's see how soon in his campaign he's going to have to distance himself from Trump. You watch. They will. It'll be like, which one? Simon Peter. 3 times. You're going to do it 3 times, aren't you? Yeah. They're going to do it. You're going to see some people turn into Simon Peter really quick. I saw something tonight. Here, let me show you if I can find this. This was very interesting. These people who have been, and I love Ron DeSantis because, I live down here and he's done a fantastic job. But the Ron DeSantis crowd has been really, really pissed off ever since Trump won. They've held that in and they can't wait. So I want to show you Jenna Ellis and what she's trying to do. Her and this other guy, Anthony Sabatini. Hold on, let's see if I can find what she said. Where is it? But she basically came out and said Trump needs to walk away. Okay, here it is. Okay. This is what she said. People are starting to have 2015 levels of impatience with Trump. instead of blind, fierce loyalty. A strong signal that a post-Trump MAGA and GOP is rapidly approaching, and conservatives need to be very careful who becomes the next leader of the party. The weak establishment GOP is hopefully gone thanks to Trump. However, godless populism and the America-only new right shouldn't take its place. God-ordained institutions rather than man-made, grounded in eternal principles and objective morality are still the most effective way to govern a society that values freedom and liberty. Hey, check out my article on this. Just watch. These people are laying the groundwork to separate themselves from Trump. They're already letting people know we need to do something different. He's only 10 months into his current presidency, and there are people already jockeying for position because, as she writes, what was the word? People are starting to have 2015 levels of impatience with Trump. Who? People like her? We already know what she did. Remember when they were doing a whole trials and stuff because of the fake election stuff, she took a deal. She couldn't take it all the way. Now, whatever it was, finances or whatever, but she cut a deal. And ever since then, she's been pissed off at Trump, but she doesn't tell people that. This is specifically the type of thing you're going to begin seeing. That kind of a statement. People are starting to have 2015 levels of impatience with Trump. 2015? People were impatient with President Trump in 2015? It's coming. Stay grounded and find your safe space. I will always make this a safe space. I'm not turning on him. I'm not flipping on him. These people make me sick, and they're starting to jockey for position right now. The hyenas, indeed, are circling. Careful. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Fanfare family. I'm B-Bonk.